Welcome to our deep dive into the world of Amazon and the mind of Jeff Bezos. You know, we're going beyond, the products and all that and really delving into the growth principles that took Amazon from online bookstore to, well, the everything store.
The everything store, it's right.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and we're going to be looking at Steve Anderson's book, The Bezos Letters.
Okay.
And what he did is he went through all of Jeff Bezos's annual shareholder letters and kind of distilled 14 growth principles. And what's fascinating is that these principles aren't, just for tech giants or whatever. They can be applied to any business, any organization, even to your own personal goals.
That's what I love about these deep dives is that we're not just learning about Amazon or whatever. But it's about extracting wisdom that we can apply to our own lives. And one of the things I find so intriguing about Bezos's approach is his perspective on risk. He doesn't shy away from it.
Nope.
He embraces what he calls successful failure.
Right. And he actually has said this quote that I love.
Okay.
I've made billions of dollars of failures at Amazon.com.
Wow.
They haven't. They also don't matter, though.
Interesting. So how does he define success and failure? Is this about learning lessons, or is there a more calculated approach to?
I think it's
risk taking.
Bezos is so incredibly data driven. That even his failures have a strategic element to them. So like take the Fire Phone, for instance. I mean, massive financial flop, right? $170 million they lost on that.
Oh my goodness.
But the technology and the lessons learned from that directly contributed to the success of Alexa and the Echo devices.
Wow. So it's almost like calculated experiments.
Exactly.
Where they're willing to take these big swings, knowing that even if they strike out, they're gathering valuable data that can fuel future home runs.
Exactly. And think about Amazon auctions. Another failure, right? But it laid the groundwork for the wildly successful Amazon marketplace. So he seems to have this ability to like really extract value from what others might see as outright failure.
That's a powerful mindset, especially for those of us who might be hesitant to take risks.
Sure.
But it also makes me wonder, how does this tolerance for failure connect to Amazon's infamous customer obsession?
Right.
Because we know that...
Well, that's another key to understanding Bezos, I think. Is that customer obsession, he's famously said that Amazon is customer obsessed. Not just customer focused.
What's the distinction?
I think they're constantly looking for ways to anticipate customer needs, even before the customers themselves articulate them.
Wow. So how does that translate into action? Is it just about, excellent customer service?
It's more than that. It's really woven into the fabric of the company. Do you remember that anecdote about Henry Blodgett?
I don't know if I do.
Okay, so he was a journalist, and he was a big deal back in the dot-com days. And he rented Casablanca on Amazon and was having a terrible streaming experience. Amazon proactively refunded him.
Wow.
Without him even complaining.
Without him even reaching out.
He just...
Wow, that's impressive.
Right.
But how do they maintain that level of customer focus at such a massive scale?
It goes beyond individual interactions. They have like strict policies and guidelines for third-party sellers to make sure that everyone who's operating within their ecosystem is adhering to those same high standards.
So it all ties back to that long-term vision that Bezos is known for. I mean, the 10,000-year clock is a pretty powerful symbol of that.
Absolutely.
Commitment to thinking beyond quarterly earnings.
Absolutely. I mean, that clock is a testament to his belief that building something to last requires a different perspective. It's a mindset that prioritizes sustainable value creation over short-term gains.
It's a refreshing contrast to so many companies that seem to be chasing that.
Chasing the next quarterly report.
The next quarterly report. So, but how does this long-term thinking play out in Amazon's day-to-day operations?
Well, they have this concept that he calls the flywheel.
And
it's essentially a visual representation of their growth engine.
So break down this flywheel for me.
So imagine a wheel with all these different components, right? Each representing a key element of their business. So customer experience traffic selection.
Okay.
Lower prices.
Got it.
As one component improves, it skins the wheel faster.
Okay.
Boosting the other components in this self-reinforcing cycle.
So every decision, every new initiative is filtered through this.
Yeah. Does this make the wheel spin faster?
Flywheel lens?
Yeah. If not, it's probably not worth their time.
And this approach has been incredibly effective.
Incredibly effective.
For them, I mean, it allowed them to weather storms like the dot-com bust while others crumbled.
Right.
You know, it takes real conviction to stick to your long-term vision when the pressure is on.
Absolutely.
And to constantly adapt that vision as the market evolves, like their acquisition of Whole Foods, for instance.
Yeah, what was that all about?
That seemed like such a head-scratcher at first.
I know, right?
Like, what does an online retailer want with a brick-and-mortar grocery chain?
Right. But you look at it through the lens of the flywheel.
Okay.
And it makes perfect sense.
Okay.
You know, they gain new customer segments. They expand their physical footprint.
Right.
And further enhance that convenience factor.
Yeah.
So it was this strategic move to add fuel to their growth engine.
So it wasn't just this random acquisition.
Exactly.
It was a calculated decision based on their
vision. Yeah.
Long-term vision and their understanding of the evolving retail landscape.
The evolving retail landscape.
And this commitment to long-term thinking also influences their decision-making process.
Yes.
Bezos distinguishes between what he calls type 1 and type 2 decisions.
That's right.
All right, so unpack that for me.
Okay.
All right.
So type 1 decisions are those big, irreversible calls.
Okay.
So the one-way doors you go through and you can't go back.
Okay.
Things like selling your company or quitting your job without another one lined up.
Right.
Those require deliberate, thoughtful analysis.
Right.
Because the stakes are so high.
So how do they approach those high-stakes decisions?
They have a very deliberate process that forces everyone involved to think through the implications thoroughly. So this includes these infamous 6-page narratives.
I've heard about these legendary memos.
Yes. Incredibly detailed documents that lay out every aspect of the decision and its potential consequences.
And everyone in the meeting actually reads the entire document before any discussion even begins.
No skimming allowed.
Wow.
Bezos believes that this process ensures that every decision is thoroughly vetted and that everyone is on the same page.
So no rash decisions when it comes to those type 1 calls.
That's right.
But what about the type 2 decisions?
Okay.
The ones that
those are the reversible ones.
Aren't quite as life-altering.
Yeah, you can course correct if things don't go as planned.
Okay.
So think about changing a website layout or...
Got it. So you can be a bit more nimble with those.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Bezos encourages high-velocity decision-making for type 2 decisions.
So he wants people to take calculated risk and move quickly.
Move quickly because speed is so crucial in today's fast-paced environment.
Yeah. So it's about finding that right balance between deliberate analysis for those big irreversible calls and then empowering people to move quickly and experiment with those smaller reversible ones.
And this brings us to a great example of this in action.
Oh, okay.
Frustration-free packaging.
Okay.
Remember all those products that used to come in those
Yeah.
impossible-to-open plastic clamshells?
Yeah, I still have nightmares about those things.
Well, Bezos felt the same way. You know, he knew customers hated them.
Right.
So in 2008, they launched the Frustration-Free Packaging Initiative.
And this wasn't just about being nice to their customers. This was a business decision as well.
Right. There were clear business benefits by simplifying the packaging.
Oh, okay.
You know, they reduced waste. They lowered shipping costs, and they made the entire customer experience more pleasant.
It's a perfect illustration of how listening to customers and addressing their pain points can lead to innovative solutions that also make good business sense. And this principle of listening to customers extends to another area where Amazon has truly excelled, leveraging technology to accelerate growth.
Right.
But before we get into that, I'm curious, what are your thoughts so far? What's resonating with you from these principles we've discussed?
Yeah, I think what's interesting to me is that one thing that I've noticed about Bezos is that he balances data-driven decisions with his gut instinct.
Really?
Yeah, he famously said, when anecdotes and data disagree, the anecdotes are usually right.
That's surprising to hear, given Amazon's reliance on data analysis, it seems counterintuitive that Bezos would place so much emphasis on intuition.
Well, I think he recognizes that data, while incredibly valuable, can be misleading.
Okay.
You have to be measuring the right things.
Right.
And sometimes those personal stories, those individual customer experiences can reveal insights that might be missed in the aggregate data.
So it's about recognizing the limitations of data. And being willing to trust your instincts when they tell you something different.
Absolutely. And one way he does that is by making sure that he stays connected to the customer experience.
Okay.
He still reads customer emails.
Wow, even now.
Even now. And he'll forward particularly interesting ones to executives with a simple question mark.
Really?
Prompting them to dig deeper into a specific issue.
That's an incredible level of engagement for someone running a company as massive as Amazon. Yeah.
It speaks to his commitment to understanding the customer perspective, even as the company grows and becomes more complex.
And this ties into another one of Bezos's principles, maintaining a day one mentality.
Okay.
He's constantly emphasizing the importance of staying agile, innovative, and customer-centric, even as the company matures.
Day two is stagnation.
Yes.
The enemy of innovation.
That's right.
But how do you maintain that day one energy in a company with over 1 million employees?
Bezos believes it's all about resisting proxies.
Okay.
He argues that as companies grow, there's this natural tendency to create more rules, more layers of bureaucracy, and that can stifle innovation and lead to that dreaded day two thinking.
So how do you avoid that trap?
By remembering what truly matters and not letting those processes overshadow the ultimate goal, which is serving the customer.
Okay.
And one great example of this is the story of the door desks.
The door desk in the early days of Amazon, resources were tight.
Yeah.
So Bezos famously used doors as desks.
I've seen pictures of those.
Yeah.
They're iconic.
Yeah, they're still around.
They're still around.
You can still find door desks scattered throughout Amazon's headquarters.
Wow.
They serve as this tangible reminder of their scrappy beginnings and their commitment to resourcefulness.
It's a way of staying grounded, remembering where they came from, and avoiding complacency.
Exactly. It sends a powerful message to employees.
Yeah.
Like, we're not afraid to roll up our sleeves and do whatever it takes to serve the customer.
But resisting proxies isn't just about frugality, right? It's also about...
It's about challenging assumptions.
Challenging assumptions.
And being willing to embrace external trends, even if they disrupt existing models.
Right.
Bezos is always looking for ways to stay ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
He famously said, big trends are not that hard to spot, but they can be strangely hard for large organizations to embrace.
It's that innovator's dilemma, right?
That's right.
When you're successful with one model, it can be hard to pivot and adapt to a new one.
Right.
Even if it's clearly the way of the future.
Exactly. And Bezos is acutely aware of that danger.
Right.
He's always pushing Amazon to experiment.
Okay.
To take risks and to be willing to cannibalize their own products if necessary.
That's a bold move.
It is.
It takes a lot of courage to disrupt your own successful model.
Well, it's better to disrupt yourself than to have somebody else do it for you.
I guess that's true.
Right. Yeah.
And this ties into another crucial principle, promoting ownership. Amazon has created this culture where employees feel empowered to take initiative to challenge the status quo, to act like owners.
That's right.
So how do they cultivate that sense of ownership? Is it just about hiring the right people, or are there specific...
It's a combination of factors.
Programs or policies that reinforce this idea?
Yeah, so they have a rigorous hiring process.
Okay.
That focuses on finding individuals who are not only talented, but also passionate, curious.
Right.
And driven to make a difference.
And once those individuals are on board, they empower them to take ownership.
Yeah, they have a disagree and commit system.
Okay.
So you're encouraged to voice your dissent.
Really, even if it means challenging your boss.
Even if it means challenging your boss.
So they encourage healthy debate and dissent.
Yes. Bezos believes that this type of open communication leads to better decisions.
Okay.
But once a decision is made, everyone commits to it fully.
Wow.
Regardless of their initial opinion.
So it's about creating a culture of respect and open dialogue, but also ensuring that everyone is rowing in the same direction.
It's a delicate balance, but it seems to be working.
Yeah, and then there's that pay-to-quit program, is that right?
Yeah.
They actually offer employees money to leave?
They do every year. they offer employees a sum of money to quit.
How much are we talking?
Starts at $2,000 and increases each year.
Wow.
Until it reaches $5,000.
So they're basically saying, if you don't want to be here, we'll pay you to leave.
Yeah, we'll give you money to pursue your passions elsewhere.
That's a fascinating approach.
It is.
It almost seems counterintuitive.
Yeah.
But I guess it makes sense if you think about it. It weeds out those who are just going through the motions.
Exactly.
And it ensures that everyone who stays
is truly committed.
Is truly invested in the company's mission.
And it's not just about employees.
Okay.
They also look for ways to create that sense of ownership for their customers.
That's an interesting point. How do they foster that feeling of ownership for customers?
Well, consider Amazon Smile.
Okay.
It's a simple program
that
allows customers to choose a charity they want to support. And Amazon donates a portion of their purchases to that charity.
I love that program. It makes you feel like you're
a part of something bigger than just a transaction.
Yeah.
Like you're contributing to a cause you care about.
Exactly. It's a small gesture.
Yeah.
But it goes a long way in fostering that sense of community and shared purpose.
And it all ties back to that customer-centric approach that we talked about earlier. It's clear that all of these principles that we've been discussing, from embracing successful failure to promoting ownership, they're all interconnected. They reinforce each other. And they create this incredibly powerful engine for growth.
And what's remarkable is that these principles aren't just for, tech giants like Amazon. They can be applied to any business, any organization, even on a personal level.
Absolutely. These are principles that can help anyone achieve their goals. Whether it's building a successful business, launching a creative project, or simply living a more fulfilling life. And that brings us to the final and perhaps most intriguing principle.
All right.
Jeff Bezos, the builder of roads to the future.
Okay. I'm all ears.
Roads to the future.
Roads to the future. That sounds pretty grand.
It is. Because for Bezos, Amazon just one piece of the puzzle.
Okay.
It's a means to a much bigger end.
And what's that on?
Space exploration.
Okay.
Bezos has this long-held dream of enabling humans to live and work in space.
So he's not just talking about sending a few astronauts to the moon. He's talking about
he wants to build
building a spacefaring civilization.
Spacefaring civilization. That's right.
Wow.
And he's putting his money where his mouth is.
Okay.
He founded Blue Origin.
Okay.
A privately funded space exploration company.
Back in 2000.
Back in 2000.
Blue Origin, that's the company behind those reusable rockets.
Those are the ones
we've been seeing lately.
Yeah, and Bezos sees Blue Origin as laying the groundwork for a future.
Okay.
Where space travel is commonplace. Where entrepreneurs can build businesses in orbit.
Wow.
And where humanity can expand beyond the confines of Earth.
It's a bold vision, almost science fiction-like.
It is. But Bezos believes it's achievable. And he's using the same principles that built Amazon to guide Blue Origin's mission.
So embracing risk, long-term thinking, customer obsession, all of that applies.
Absolutely.
To space exploration as well.
Think about it. Space travel is inherently risky.
Yeah.
You know, it requires massive upfront investment. With no guarantee of immediate returns. And you're dealing with technologies that are constantly evolving and pushing the boundaries of what's possible. And you need to create a culture where people are empowered to innovate and experiment.
So in a way, Blue Origin is like the ultimate test.
It is.
Of Bezos's growth principles.
Yeah, and the success of Blue Origin could have profound implications for the future of humanity.
Yeah, it really is mind-blowing to think about.
It seems like all of these principles that we've been talking about, from, embracing successful failure to building a road to the future. They're ultimately about challenging conventional wisdom and pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Exactly. Bezos is not afraid to think big and to take bold steps, even if they seem unconventional or risky. And that's a key takeaway, I think.
Absolutely. We've covered so much ground today, exploring the inner workings of Amazon and the mind of Jeff Bezos. And what's truly remarkable is how applicable these principles are to our own lives and goals.
These aren't just, abstract concepts for Fortune 500 companies or whatever. These are tools that anyone can use to achieve greater success and fulfillment.
Think about the flywheel concept, for example.
Right.
You could apply that to your career, your relationships, even your personal growth.
Absolutely. What are the key elements that drive your own personal or professional flywheel? Yeah. How can you optimize those elements to accelerate your own growth?
That's a powerful question. And then there's the idea of successful failure.
Right.
It's so easy to get paralyzed by the fear of making mistakes.
Sure.
But Bezos's approach is so liberating.
It really is. It's about reframing failure as a necessary part of the learning process.
Right.
It's about being willing to experiment, to take calculated risks, knowing that not everything will work out, but that those failures can pave the way for future successes.
And it's not just about business, right? This applies to relationships.
Oh, absolutely.
Creative pursuits. Practically every aspect of life.
Yeah, it's a fundamental mindset shift.
Yeah.
Instead of asking, what if I fail? We can ask, what can I learn from this experience, even if it doesn't go as planned?
I love that it's about embracing the journey, the ups and downs, and recognizing that growth often happens outside of our comfort zones.
Yeah.
It does. And that brings me to a final thought for you to ponder.
Okay.
As we wrap up this deep dive.
Okay.
Bezos talks about building a road to the future. What scaffolding is already in place in your life or business that you can leverage to accelerate your own journey?
Okay.
What seemingly crazy idea might be worth testing, even if it risks failure?
Those are powerful questions to reflect on. It's about, recognizing the resources and opportunities that are already available to us.
Right.
And then having the courage to take that leap of faith, to step outside the familiar and embrace the unknown.
Exactly. And I encourage you to revisit those anecdotes and examples that we discussed today.
Yeah.
Which ones sparked your curiosity?
Yeah.
Which ones challenged your assumptions?
Right.
Use those sparks as fuel to ignite your own journey of growth and discovery.
Well, that's a wrap for our deep dive into the Bezos Letters and Amazon's growth principles.
Yes.
I don't know about you, but my mind is buzzing with new ideas.
It's been a pleasure exploring these fascinating topics with you.
Likewise.
Until next time, keep learning, keep questioning, and keep building your own road to the future.